All right. Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster, Effingham County, Georgia. Okay, I was actually going to say, I wonder where that is. All right, Georgia, 938. All right. My unit was AZ62. So, one of the early units. All right, can you see my cursor? Yes, you can. All right. So, left rifle guard. Let's look at you for a minute. Your position of attention. Your hands are too far. Well, the right hand might not be, but I want to talk about the right hand in just a second. Your left hand is too far back. Now, this is common with some people with how they stand. Sometimes people will stand and then they'll push their hips forward. And there's a lot of structural issues that we could go into and talk for a long time about that. Anyway, just to cut that really short, what you need to understand is at least the left hand is much too far back. Your thumb needs to be on the seam of the trouser leg. All right, so now, right hand. What you're doing is this. All right, you have your hand barely touching the rifle, and the fingers, as you can see right here, the fingers are pointed straight down. That's okay, but it's not necessarily the proper technique, all right, that we're looking for. We're looking for this, all right, so that you can actually hold onto the rifle securely. You make that V or U grip or taco grip, whatever you want to call it. Thumb is on the seam of the trouser leg, all right, and then the fingers are angled slightly forward, not pointed straight down, so just slightly forward. That's the technique we're looking for there. Okay, so Judge is having paperwork taken care of. Good. All right. Love the hair, by the way. Girls, you look absolutely fantastic. Now, chin straps are you're wearing throat straps. Chin straps are worn at the chin, everybody. Not back here, here at the chin. All right, but hair looks absolutely fantastic. Now, why are you going to close interval dress right dress? I know that it's common, and plus your hands are wrong, so we'll go over that in just a second. So I've got a dog behind me. So when you fall in, you get your dress and your distance, and then that's it. There's no reason to call at close interval dress right dress. You say fall in, you get to your position, you look, you get your spacing, you get your alignment, you're done. And then you drop your hand, you adjust your equipment as needed, and then you stand at attention and you wait. Over, asks the commander to sign, and then the commander of the team then says whatever is necessary, asks questions if necessary, and then okay, done. Judge walks away, commander goes back to attention, and then gives carry colors and forward and so forth. This isn't necessary. So if judges are used to seeing this, you need to start, as a judge, you need to start asking why this is happening. So as a team, then you need to not do this. You need to fall in properly and then execute as necessary after. All right, so avoiding my puppy dog here. So at close interval, dress right, dress. The hand or the fingers point straight down. The heel of the thumb is on the hip bone, right at the top of the hip bone. You're not doing this, although that helps the elbow come forward. See, when you have that hand straight down, your elbow tends to move back, and then you have to there. Your elbow is easily moves back, but then you have to bring that elbow forward. Looks kind of strange, but it's only for a few seconds when you fall in. So the technique you use here is incorrect. So not bad. Could have been a little bit more smooth in the technique. So I wanted to go back to this. Commander, excellent job. You're responding to your commands as you should as a team member. So many, even adults, don't understand this. The commander in the color guard is part of the formation. The commander in the parade staff is part of the formation. Those two positions, the commander in the flag detail for raising and lowering the flag, responds to his or her own commands, because the commander is in the formation, and it looks odd to have. Well, you've most likely seen it. The commander comes to attention and then calls the rest of the team to attention, or ready front here. And it just looks very odd. It doesn't make sense at all. That makes sense. And that's what Air Force follows. So Air Force and Space Force follow that. It's not explicitly explained in the Marine Corps order or the Army training circular, but you can get that idea that you need to respond to your own commands. If the commander is outside of the formation, let's say the squad leader outside the formation, or the flight commander outside, or the squadron commander, or whoever, then the commander fills that position as commander outside of the formation. Here, great job, team. So not bad. You can see slight angles, different angles of the staffs there. So we need to have just complete uniformity, and it takes a lot of practice. Let's go back and see that first step. I think I saw a toe first, so I'm looking at all the feet, but I'm thinking, yeah. So toe first. Left rifle guard, you stepped forward and the toe struck first. Nice and smooth, that's great. However, it's a heel strike that's required for that first step, for every service, regardless. Now, and organizational bearer, you also did it as well. And I won't bore you. Okay, whipping around there, way too fast. I won't bore you with going back, but you understand. It's not a toe strike. It has to be a heel strike. You're taking that 24-inch step forward. Every other service, Army and Air Force, Air Force and Space Force take the 24-inch step. Everybody else takes a 30-inch step, but it's always a heel strike after forward march. So here, the left wheel, you're going to take about 8 steps, but that was way too fast. You take the 8 steps at the same tempo as you are marching forward. So get your cell phone, get loud metronome. I recommend it. I don't get any kickbacks at all for that recommendation, but if you hook it up to a Bluetooth speaker, it's nice and loud. It's as loud as your cell phone speaker will go, but with a Bluetooth speaker, it's even louder. But get loud metronome, set it to your tempo range. I've got an article at my website about tempo ranges. Set it to the middle, turn it up, stick it in your back. You do, whether it's half step, mark time, marching forward, wheels, it doesn't matter. Everything you do, march it at that tempo. Yeah, you can see way too fast there. And then you go back to a slower tempo, and you again stepped off with the toe strike. So you're marching, and then you're marching so fast that the commander gave forward, step, harch. So it needs to be forward, harch on 2 consecutive left steps, another mark time step on the right foot, and then step off with the left. So left guard, nice arm swing. Your your blouse sleeve is a bit too long. Actually, both of you, both guards, your blouse sleeve is a bit too long. So left guard, nice arm swing straight forward and back. That's good. Right rifle guard, you're angling over just a bit in front of your body. So using the Marine Corps technique of cradle, which is just fine. It makes sense since, no, so that's not supposed to be a facing movement. It's supposed to be a face in march where the pivot is on the right foot platform. So the platform is the ball of the foot and everything forward. So whichever direction you're going, doesn't matter. Pivot on the ball of the right foot or that right foot platform and, excuse me, and take that step forward. And I was going to go off into technique, what the guards use. And then here also, we'll watch the uncasing sequence just a sec. So here, the guards move in, they stop at an angle and then execute a tiny facing movement. So in the military, we don't execute tiny facing movements to do things. That's why that when the guards are here and they step off, it's just a step off. It's not a tiny facing movement and then march out. It's step off. We don't do that. So many are used to teeny tiny little facing movement, salute and report in, drop your salute, teeny tiny facing movement. That doesn't work that way. So we can turn the head to do the reporting. But here, what I recommend is that you step in. And you're marching in here. You're marching in at an angle, but don't stop here and then face. Okay, this obviously my hands are the guards here. Can't really tell all that much, but so you march in and then you stop. Don't face, but stop facing inward. It's going to look so much more smooth. Plus, you don't have to do that tiny facing movement that really is completely unnecessary. Good job. Nice snap there. That worked well. So I wish I could see both of the guards, but still, not too bad. So not holding the cases correctly. So you're not supposed to hold them like this. You're actually supposed to hold them like this. All right. And I've posted about that on social media several times. You can look up the hashtag. I forget the hashtag now. But anyway, it has to do with casing the colors, uncasing colors. You can go to my I posted it on YouTube, and also the static images, and then also hundreds and hundreds and thousands of posts on Instagram and my Facebook page. So you can do a search for that. No, not a problem. You'll easily find it. I'm sure. So it just facilitates much better you holding the sling there. But what I wanted to do is I want to go back here. Little, and you moved on the present, which isn't necessary. So staffs are being brought up quite well together, more or less. I mean, kind of it looks like they're fighting, almost at times. But as you unfurl the staff, you really should be doing this, turning so that the staff is not being jerked around and also isn't stopping. So you don't want this turn, 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 turn like that. It should be really a smooth roll or unroll, in whichever case may be, as you furl and unfurl the silk. So, but you have correct equipment. Both the flags have the fringe. Shouldn't be carrying the state flag, but I understand why the state flag is carried, and I've also got an article about that as to why JROTCs carry the state flag and how that actually came about, or at least through my research, what I've discovered is probably the root cause of that. Anyway, you can see here, now they'll continue for another couple of rolls here. Really, the flag staffs should be even, but then you end with the spade flat, just like this. And you can see here that the American flag bearer doesn't, but then turns just a little bit more. So it's not a fluid motion, which it really needs to be. Turn, 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 flat. Then come up into the socket, and you're done. And which actually was good technique here. Nicely done. And so jerking the flagstaff up like that isn't necessary. What you can do, and I'll just put this around my neck here. So what you can do when you're bringing the staff in, you don't notice that it's at an angle forward. And that's because the Army carries at a slight angle forward, so it works to be uniform really in that angle. But what you can do is pull. What I do is every time I go to carry right shoulder, what we call it in ceremonial, and then pull the lip of the harness socket back so that it now is horizontal. Much easier to place the ferrule in, and it's a lot smoother instead of going, trying to jerk it that way. And I understand what you were doing. The socket has that hole in the bottom, and you're trying to put the ferrule or the ferrule tip through that hole. Understood, and I understand that, and support what you're doing. It's just there is a little bit better method that you could be using. Right there, you shouldn't do that. You don't move on present. It's present, arms, 1, 2, order, arms, drop, up, down. So you performed that well. And so state bearer, and so you drop the left on order. Shouldn't do that either. You don't know the technique, and you're not executing it properly. So, and then state bearer, really you shouldn't just go. It should be a thrust in one count, and I know that it can be difficult depending on the size of the staffs, or the length of the staffs, the size of the flag, the weight there, but it really needs to be thrust out in one count and brought back also in one count. So one question I have is, why do you both have your elbows flared out like this? You're using Army technique, which means you have your left on the staff at the socket. By the way, both of the sockets are way too low. Her socket should be up just below her belt right here, and then her socket should be pretty much at her belt. So that both the sockets really need to be at the same level. There's really no reason not to have them at the same level. Having the American flag must always be higher type of thought process is a myth. It doesn't exist. Nothing special happens when you go to carry. When you're at order, the flags are at the same level. When you're at carry, they need to be at the same level, unless there is a huge difference in height or waist level difference there. Then sure, there's going to be some minimal difference, as the Marine Corps order talks about, minimal difference. But here, there's no reason to have this harness socket so low. You both have a bit of harness crotch syndrome going on here, and it's not necessary. But anyway, since you have the left on the staff at the socket, that's an Army technique. The Army doesn't flare the elbow. Air Force flares the elbow, and the left hand is then at the side. But the elbow is flared, which makes the forearm horizontal, which means that the hand needs to be at shoulder level on the staff, which means that it's way below, technically really where it should be, which is at mouth level. The difference in your hand position here and here is significant. I don't know the physics behind it, but it's very significant. And like I said, can't really tell you why. I just know it from many, many, many years of experience and from teaching as well. It's just so different. But anyway, so the elbows need to be relaxed. That's the end result here. So, and while they're doing that, I'll say, so my hands are the belt, and then my pink rag here that I have just for this occasion is the judges make me laugh. Anyway, my hands are the belt. The pink rag is the case. This is what the case should look like. Tucked in the belt. This is not tucked in the belt. So the flared hand is not the technique. It really should have the fingers wrapped, and we can have pretty much an endless discussion as to techniques that should be followed, and why techniques should be followed, what techniques should be followed. Air Force JROTC has said whatever to Air Force techniques. We're just going with the Army, and that's it. And some schools are not following that, and some schools are just completely leaving regulation drill behind and going solely with ceremonial drill, which actually, if you want my opinion and you sent the critique in for a reason, or the video in for a critique for a reason, ceremonial drill is so much better than regulation drill, because everything is mapped out. Everything is taken care of. Regulation drill is... So, and here as well, the going to right shoulder, then, so left hand on the staff at the socket, both guards at right shoulder, that's all Army techniques. You need to relax the elbow. Also, going to right shoulder and flaring that left elbow out, it might look sharp, but it's not the technique that's required. Drop the elbow as you go to right shoulder. Right here, elbow is flared. So, oh, that was strange. So, and I'll show you why. Yeah, that was quite strange. So both of you executed that flanking movement. It was actually a right flank. It should be a right face in march. By pivoting, you did a marching facing movement. Not a face in march, but a marching facing movement. You pivoted on the right heel and the left toe. Stuck that left foot out and then just turned like that. It's an interesting way to do it. However, ultimately, it is not the correct technique. So the colors reverse is a series of faces in marching. Why it's a series of faces in marching, I don't know. But that's what the Army decided to do. A face in march, just like when the guards go out to case or uncase the colors. It's a face in march is a pivot on the right foot platform only, not the left foot platform like was changed in the Air Force pamphlet in the 90s by somebody who needed an EPR bullet. You don't pivot just randomly on either foot. It's always on the right foot platform. It's always either to the right or to the left. Fully. All right, sorry about that. Had a phone call that I had to take. So, series of faces in marching. It's to the right or to the left, full or half, whichever is required. Here, it's a full 90 degrees, and it's just a unique requirement here. But also, you can see when the team, so cases not taken care of properly, strings really shouldn't be hanging. The cases need to be folded up so that they're square on the top, square on the bottom, which I know square on the bottom is really kind of a bear to do, since the top ends at a point. But what you can do is take that point, kind of like this. You take the point and not bring it down to the very end. You just bring it to here, and then you can hide the point easily. All right, so when the team is very used to marching in place at a faster pace, which then creates a problem for right rifle guard, because he's always the one who's going to come in into position last. Right rifle guard is marching at the usual pace, but then the rest of the team is starting to march quicker, and that creates an issue right here as he's marching up. So you can, and then he has to increase his speed. So see, you can see here, he's out of play, out of step, and then he gets into. I'm sure the team has practiced it enough to where he's out of step, and then he can adjust and come in step. So the rotation of the wheel is fine. That's good. The left guard, at least so far for the two left wheels, the left guard has remained in place, and that's good. It's just you're whipping it around in just a few steps. You really need to take about 8 steps. A 4-man team, 8 steps works well. 6 is okay. It's not too bad. It's might be slightly faster, but when the rotation point is at either guard position, that 8 steps is really going to be beneficial. 5, 6. Yeah, 6. It was a bit rushed. Yeah. Okay. So you're all, except the right rifle guard, you're all executing the flanks with pivots on both feet. So I gotta say, that first step with the toe strike, it looks great. It really does. It comes across, communicates really well. It's just not the right technique. So you can see the difference in angle of the staffs, and Army technique has a slight incline to the front. Oh, good. You didn't dip the flags. I'm so used to seeing the guide-on parade rest executed, which isn't supposed to be. All right, and then you remain at mark time quite a bit there, and so the timing really is lost, honestly. So as you call your right, let's go over right wheel. So right wheel, march. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, march. Step. Go. So after that 8 counts, go right into that forward march. Left wheel, march. One more step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Forward, march. Step. Go. And you've got it. So here, the flow really isn't there. You're fine the way you do it. If you don't want to change, you don't have to. I'm just saying there's probably a better way to do it, to communicate better to the judges, to your audience. But you can mark time forever if you really want to. So it looks like you're getting a little bit closer. Yeah, you are. And so do you see the pivots that you're doing with both feet? So eyes right should be eyes right, execute. Ready, front, execute. So you can see arm swing with both the guards is different as far as the back swing. So Army uses the measurements of 9 to the front, 6 to the rear. Air Force is 6 to the front, 3 to the rear, but they're exactly the same arm swing because the Air Force just measures differently. But it's exactly the same. Army measures from the center of the thigh. Air Force measures from the back, or from the front and the back of the thigh. So it's just a different way to measure. Hi, Scout. Hi, good boy. So, hi, good boy. That's my good puppy. All right, so sorry, pup, I got to do this. As you go to present, it looks like your hands are a little bit too high. When you're at port, your left pinky should be right at, this is called the upper receiver. Your left pinky should be just at the metal of the upper receiver. When you go to present, your left pinky should still be at that same level instead of higher, lower. Yeah, so there's a few execution problems here, and interesting. And then pick up the faster mark time. So you've adapted ways of doing. Judge, you should be watching, not marking down. Judge, they're still performing. All right. Anyway, so some execution problems, some timing issues as well. Although some of the now, what I would recommend for your order, let's go back here. Now notice the American flag was just thrown down immediately, and it's not necessary. So, and for those of you who are wondering, I'll try and capture it right there. Oh, crud. So I bet I'm not going to be able to. I bet I'm not going to be able to get that. Oh, yeah. Amazingly. All right. So I'll just talk about this really quickly. This white band right here, that's the staff sleeve. It's also called a pole hem, but poles are longer than 10 feet long. But so a staff sleeve is for flag staffs. Anyway, staff sleeve right here. The solid white one, the solid blue one, and the solid red one they're all authorized. I'm not thrilled with them because I think they look odd, but I mean they're authorized. You could have them, it's fine. They're made because the flags had a different header on them before. That they had probably the manila band and then the two grommets in there. So fringe was probably added later on, and then they sewed the staff sleeve on at some point, whatever flag maker did that flag. So that's interesting. But so notice that the American flag comes down first, and it really shouldn't. Both flags need to come down at the same time. And this goes along with the idea of, even when you're standing around for a color guard, you still need to stand in order. When you're just kind of walking around, you still need to walk in order. The American flag doesn't go on the left, it goes on the right, it goes in front. They both come down together. So you can see that the guards come out to the port position, grab, and then drop. What you can do with your staff is order, arms. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Just a slight pause, and you can time everything so that the equipment comes down together. It's going to also look a little smoother. All right, so that's it for my critique. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, by all means ask. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.